Hello and welcome to Ewell Acres. Today we're going to be talking about the solid bottom board, the screen bottom board, as well as their advantages and disadvantages and which one you might use on your beehive. Let's get started. First off, we're going to be looking at the bottom board. The bottom board is the foundation, the concrete slab, the rock that holds the entire beehive together. If your bottom board is not sturdy, then the entire rest of your beehive is going to fall apart. There is going to be a solid piece of bottom wood that holds the entire hive together. The reason why you want a good, strong bottom board is there could be anywhere between 50, 100, 150 plus pounds of weight all resting on this one board. This is going to give you the most protection. It's going to give you the most support. And that's why most people use the solid bottom board, especially in the high winter when you get in my area, it gets very, very cold in the winter temperatures. We get very cold, windy, where we can sometimes get feet of snow. Having that solid bottom board is going to help protect against the wind, the rain, the elements, having predators come up. It is by far the most popular that you're going to see in the commercial as well as the residential realm. That's its advantages. The disadvantages is it doesn't let the wind through. It doesn't let other stuff to go down, not only in but out. So there is a second type of bottom board called the screen bottom board. Now, what the screen bottom board is in the bottom of the board, it actually has a square hole cut out approximately where your frame sit in, right in the center of the bottom board. So it's not going to be as strong as a solid bottom board, but it's going to hold most of its rigidity. It's going to maintain most of its strength, but it's going to have a screen on the bottom. It's not going to be so big that the bees and the other material fall through. They're still going to be protected. It's going to be small enough that way predators and other guys aren't going to be able to just climb right up in it. But what it does have the advantage of is as the bees collect, as they deal with their stuff, you're going to have detritus material. If you're dealing with a lot of mites, they may go to brush each other off, clean each other off. And as they knock the mites off of each other, that mite is going to fall to the bottom of the beehive. If you have a screen bottom board, then that mite can go right to the bottom of the screen and they can actually fall right through the bottom of the screen so they're not staying in the hive. If you have a solid bottom board, those mites may fall to the bottom, hit the bottom, and then just crawl right up the side of the beehive and find another fun little bee to ride on. A little bit later, I'll tell you what I personally like to do in my beehives, whether I use a screen bottom board or the solid bottom board. Which one do you prefer using, or do you think you'd want to use, or would you prefer to use both? Let us know in the comments below. In the grand scheme of things, it's not really a big deal whether you have one or the other. Where the screen bottom board really comes into its own, where it's really advantageous, is in high summer. So in high summer, in my area, we can get into triple digits heat, and that can make the hive really, really hot and unmanageable. And it can make it so the inside is going to high humidity from the bees working, having high moisture with the honey. It's also going to create a lot of heat. By having that screen bottom board, you're going to allow airflow flowing up through the bottom of the hive and act as a natural AC unit. However, if you're using screen bottom boards, it is going to add a little bit more work for you because one of the advantages is it allows air in. One of the disadvantages is allows air in. If you live in a very cold climate like I do, you do not want a screen bottom board going through winter. You're going to have icy cold winds go right up through the hive, and it's just going to freeze out the whole hive, much more so than if you had a solid bottom board. So in many cases, for myself, I like using a screen bottom board for high summer, but that adds a little bit of extra work for myself because in late fall, winter, early spring, I have a solid bottom board. Then when it comes to mid-spring, high summer, mid-fall, I need to pick up the entire hive and switch out that bottom board, which can take a little bit of time because you're going to have a lot of weight. And so you have to gently pick the entire hive up, shift it off to the side, slide in a new bottom board, and then put the hive back together. But if you can handle that, it is well worth the advantages and disadvantages that it can be from it. So whether you choose to do a solid bottom board or a screen bottom board, you're still going to need a bottom board so that the entire hive can set down to have a strong, rock solid foundation so the rest of the hive can be nice and sturdy. Thank you so much for joining today as we look at the advantages and disadvantages of the screen bottom board and the solid bottom board when you go to build your rock solid foundation on your Langstroth's hive. Now, don't stay inside all day. Get outside, enjoy that sunshine, and remember to stay rooted in nature as we look forward to learning and growing with each other. Thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you next time.